Welcome back to the Hennisphere, everyone, and welcome to your weekly Barracuda Strike construction update from SeaWorld San Antonio. I'm going to be showing you the construction that's happening along the lake, underneath Steel Eel, and by the Currents gift shop. So without further ado, here is what it looks like along the lake. We have had a lot of supports installed on the lift hill. It looks like we now know how that first drop is going to go, although I will say there's more supports than I thought, so we still don't know the complete layout of this. And we're going to need a little bit more clues before that is revealed. But we can see right here that there is some sort of barrier is going to be installed here, like a fence along the side of this roller coaster. And now that I think about it, Wavebreaker also has some sort of barrier protecting it, but it is much lower to the water. This is going to be up a little higher, so it makes sense that it would be a little bit taller. And these black, I guess I'll call them fence posts for now, they do appear to rise up probably 6-7 feet out of the water once the water has returned to its normal height. We can also see that active construction is ongoing right now. There is someone in a blue man basket working to install a very tall piece of orange support structure. And the crane has a sling on the end of its hook, and that is wrapped around one part of that orange support. But let's go get a closer look. Today is November 13th, which is the first day of the Christmas celebration. This guy's got a nice Telecaster. Now I'm a little closer, and it does look like a lot of the orange supports that were there last week on the ground and just resting have now been put in place. I only count maybe 5 supports that still need to be put on their bases. But I'm sure they have more behind the scenes that they're going to bring out for next week. But this is so interesting to see because this drop off of the lift appears to be rather steep for an invert, and it looks like it'll be very fast when it gets to the bottom. It should be banking hard to the right and then going up back over the land. And this barrier that they're building, I assume it'll be a fence similar to what they have around Great White. There are a little bit different rules regarding roller coaster fencing. If the roller coaster is high enough up off the ground, the height of the fence actually has to be adjusted even higher than the minimum requirement. That looks to be the same style of fencing they have here. Now for the Christmas celebration, I thought that they would have trees set up in the water because they have these little square stands, but I don't see any trees yet. Let's go get an even closer look of the top of this lift hill. This is the first time I've seen someone walking on the black barrier that's in place right now. They look so small. But regarding the layout of this, I think it's safe to say we all assume that the support that the crane is attached to right now will be the very next support structure after it drops off the lift hill. But the next support structure, it's a little more confusing because the next tallest one is not the next one in line. There's another support structure which is angled 90 degrees right now to the ground. And I'm wondering, is the coaster going to utilize that going towards the lake or going away from the lake as if it was going back to the brake run? I don't know yet, but it still looks to me like it's going to drop and turn hard to the right once it gets very close to the lake edge, and then it will come back up and do some stuff over here where the trees are. But it should be returning back, I guess, not 100% sure, and then going close to the lake again and then returning up the hill to the brake run. I don't know. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 support beams. And the first drop looks like it'll utilize 5 of them, but there's a 6th one that I'm still unsure about. And another thing to note that I mentioned before is the drop on this appears to be bigger than the height. The station is way up on the flat land over there, and then we have about, I don't know, a solid 20 to 25 feet of elevation change as we get down to the lake. And this is obviously not going to go all the way to the ground because the lake still needs to fill up another 6 feet or so. So you got probably a 10 to 15 foot longer drop, it would appear, so far, than the height. But again, let's get an even closer look. Here is our closest look yet. Those 3 supports were there last week, I think, and now we've got these 2 on the left, and only a couple of bases that are empty. You can see the guy in the man basket has come down, but the crane is still attached to that one support there, and it looks like This coaster is going to come right over the pathway again, turn right, go into the brake run here. Here's a real good shot of it. Just the size of this one support structure that is just after the lift hill. This is such a crazy angle right here. You see two coasters. Now he's going back up to hopefully finish getting this support in place and then remove it from the crane. Now I'm looking through the coming soon construction sign here, and they have done a lot of work to the ground in the last week. They have a lot of wooden material on the ground that is usually a sign of concrete about to be poured. Another sign is that yellow machine right there. Usually that thing is upright and it jackhammers away at the concrete, trying to smooth it out before it dries. And they have a trench dug right here. It looks like there's some sort of cable being run in there. And then they have something else that is sticking up out of the ground there, surrounded by some more wood. So not exactly sure what that is going to be, but that should be towards the end of the station. Looks like they have some levels as well, yeah. And they did pour concrete here. If you look at this right here, this was made of wood earlier. They have poured the concrete inside of it and removed the wood. So the theory that this right here is going to be a pathway leading to the ride or exiting the ride, it's still holding true. I'm gonna go look at this wooden building on the other side next. On the brake run here, we can see a couple of updates. You can see some little green squares attached to the inside of the metal rails of the track. Those are proxies. So that is more than likely the beginning of a block zone right there for the left and right bogie assemblies of the train. You can also see this copper colored tube that looks to be installed all the way down the block zones. That was not there last week. Here's another great angle. You can see them working on that support right there. And just how fast this thing is going to drop right to the water's edge. And there is someone standing next to these large black posts. It just gives you an idea of how tall they are. They must be 20 to 25 feet tall. And in relation, you can see the barrier that's been set up for a wave breaker here so that no boats can go through. Here's a good look at that wooden structure. We don't know what it is yet, but they have put some material over the top of it to serve as a roof. So I'm assuming on the inside, they're beginning work. They've got more woodwork going on, which looks like concrete is going to be poured inside of. A lot of stuff on the ground, but for the most part, stuff is already clearing out here. They are beginning a new stage, it looks like, to make stuff accessible via concrete walkways. Over here on the other side of the construction site, the only thing I see that's new for this week are the railings along the lift hill, left and right side, but they still have not added the next track piece after this one was installed 2 or 3 weeks ago. So next week, maybe we will see the continuation of this lift hill. And over here by the steel eel shop, there's a ton of vehicles and trailers, but I cannot see anything related to Barracuda Strike. Here's another angle, and again, I don't see any track pieces or anything. That red Connex is way back there behind the tree. But I do see some things wrapped in plastic. I'm not sure what they are. I almost see words on one of them over here. I'm not sure what that is though, so I'm not gonna speculate. And happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, past and present. This park, SeaWorld San Antonio, does a great job of always offering things to veterans, and I do see a lot of Air Force servicemen and servicewomen in the park every single time I come here. Today alone, I think I saw 15 in the service blues, and it was also the Marine Corps' birthday the day before Veterans Day, so happy birthday to my branch, 250 years. And this channel just continues to grow. We're going to hit 7,000 subscribers by the time that this video comes out, and I'm gonna go live tomorrow on the 15th from Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, so don't miss that. And I am starting work on my Busch Gardens Tampa vlog from last month. And of course, at 10,000 subscribers, don't forget, I'll be getting the Hennisphere logo tattooed on my body. If you learned nothing today, just remember these 3 things. No good deed goes unpunished. Follow me on TikTok. And when you're feeling stuck in life, like our friends at Premier Rides always say, push down, pull up.